Hey everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailysheeple.com, and this is your news shot. Let's go to the hedge, zerohedge.com. They say the White House is being warned that North Korea is planning a devastating EMP attack on America. Now, this is why I don't understand if the threat from Kim Jong-un is legitimate, a la rocket-wise, okay? Of course, President Trump calls him Little Rocket Man and all these derogatory terms. Think of Kim Jong-un as you will, but he's still a very dangerous guy that could kill a lot of people in a very short period of time, should he choose to. And it says here, Marine Corps veteran Tommy Waller, director of special projects at the Center for Security Policy, warned President Trump about this EMP threat. Winston Churchill once said, history will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. The surest way for history to be kind to President Trump is for him to write it, by being the first leader to truly address the existential threat of EMP. Now, the first and foremost thing he must write is an executive order establishing his own EMP commission in the White House, a task force that draws from the experience of the previous EMP commission. The grim warning is directed at North Korea and their ambitions to unleash a devastating atmospheric nuclear explosion above the United States that, of course, would collapse the nation's power grid. Now, the reason why I say North Korea is so dangerous in this and that you shouldn't taunt them is because for an EMP attack to be successful, the only thing you got to do is get it over the target. You don't need to get it to the target. You just need to get it in the general area. And then the larger the detonation, the bigger the EMP. So if you can get like if Kim Jong-un just tested they want to say, what was it, a 900 kiloton or something like that warhead, this last test that caused that over 6 earthquake to happen, that would be a very sizable EMP. That would probably take out most of the United States and the electrical grid if you could place it over the center of the country at about 20 miles high. If you could go 20 miles high, and, you know, if you want to go higher than that, that's fine. But about 20 miles high, you detonate this thing in the center of the country, you've got the country's out. It's done. Some of these transformers that we have that we rely on take anywhere from 6 months to a year to manufacture. So there's a long lead time associated with these. They don't normally keep them on the shelf, so they have to be manufactured because they're not really a high-fail item. So this is very critical. Now, be advised that since the 1960s, we've known and had filters that we could put in place on our electrical grid, on our communications equipment, on our sensitive electronic equipment to mitigate the threat of EMP. But so far, our governments, both federal, state, and local, have done nothing to prepare for it, nor has industry, nor has the utilities. The utilities haven't done anything about this, even though these large multi-state corporations like National Grid have done nothing to protect against EMP, as far as I know. Now, most of people are aware that they've tested that bomb, put 2 and 2 together, and this is a dangerous cocktail fueling the regime in North Korea. The Manhattan Project, everybody knows about that. They were pivotal in developing the nuclear bomb. And this is what the scientists there had to say. They said, for those able to execute an unconstrained analysis of today's threat environment, the single most urgent concern for Americans is what threatens the electrical grid. Without electricity, the America we know today ceases to exist, and our enemies know this. Elites in the U.S. government know this too, but most have chosen to ignore these threats and to ridicule scientists and stymie anyone willing to speak the truth about them. Now, it goes on to say, America's 16 critical infrastructures range from wastewater and water systems to food and agriculture to nuclear reactors to material and waste. And each and every one of them depend upon electricity. And if you take those out, it becomes a cascading failure. Because an EMP will not only take out the electricity or the backup supply to nuclear reactors, it's going to take the reactor out. So not only is the reactor out, it's going to melt down. Then you have the spent fuel pools. You're not going to be able to keep them cool because of the loss of electricity. So they're going to burn up. They're going to melt down. We have, I can't remember how many nuclear power plants here in the United States. They all melt down instantaneously. This is a global problem. So when they say that this is an extinction level thing, nuclear war, they're absolutely right. Maybe not from the bomb itself, but from the fallout afterwards. And I'm not talking about nuclear fallout per se, but I guess it truly is, not from the bomb, but from the resulting meltdowns of the nuclear reactors that are not able to sustain functionality after an attack like this. That in and of itself is bad. Then you take a look at the fact that a solar flare, one event, could do the same thing. So now not only do you have human, human psychopaths that could do it, but you also have the sun that can do it as well. So it's not a tunnel vision type of scenario. We have to prepare for this kind of event coming from multiple sources. And this is a very real thing, folks. If you don't believe in EMP, there's ways you can make an EMP device yourself. Watch YouTube. You can find many videos to experiment, make a little mini EMP generator and, pop a piece of electronics right in front of your face just to prove that it's real. So any doubters, any haters, better stop that stuff, because one day you could be without your internet. And imagine, there are people out there that throw tantrums and meltdowns over not being able to play their role-playing games on the internet. Could you imagine what would happen if the internet was gone and with it electricity? What then? That would be the freak out of all time. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. #WakeTheFlockUp. Have a great day, everybody.